Good evening, good evening, good evening, Dr. Goyal. Good evening, Brigadier.
Good evening to you. Good evening, Gupta. Namaskar.
Malesham is also there. Wonderful Malesham. Good evening. And good evening to everybody else. All the friends of Honeybee Network, welcome.
It's a very unique event, Gupta ji. First time I'm attending this, and I want to learn a lot from Brigadier Ganeshan, how he's organizing such a large outreach. So it's really
wonderful, wonderful indeed.
Good, Dr. Goyal. Thank you and welcome to this webinar. And I'm so grateful to all of you. We'll start in a minute or so. Just wait for some more people.
No problem, no issue.
Actually, I will start. Is it okay?
Yeah, please.
While we wait for others to join, from Palle Srujana, I'll welcome you all the guests, the innovators, the farmers, and our friends from Farmer System. While welcoming you all to this webinar, we feel very sad for the tragic accident happened in Tamil Nadu, where we lost the Chief of Defense Staff and another 10 people, including his wife. It's a very sad day, and this has been announced by the Government of India. So I have a small request to all of you. Let's mourn for 60 seconds this tragic loss of the nation. Om Shanti.
Thank you very much. We shall now start off. I will take this opportunity to welcome all the guests. Professor Gupta, thank you very much for joining. Dr. Goyal, Professor B.S. Murthy, he will be joining us very soon. Jayashanjan Garu also. Thank you very much for joining us on time, and we are very, very grateful that you're here. It's going to be a very honorable event with your presence here. So I would take this opportunity to also welcome all the innovators. Innovators, meru YouTube live చూస్తుండొచ్చు. ఇక్కడ జాయిన్ అయిన వాళ్ళందరికీ యూట్యూబ్ లైవ్ చూస్తున్న వాళ్ళందరికీ పల్లె సృజన తరపున స్వాగతం చెప్తున్నాము. అట్లనే జాయిన్ అయిన ఫార్మర్స్ అందరికీ, మీరు యూట్యూబ్ లైవ్ చూసే ఫార్మర్స్ అందరికీ పల్లె సృజన తరపున స్వాగతం అండి. Thank you very much for joining. I will now hand over it to Brigadier Ganeshan to talk about Palle Srujana and share everything about what Palle Srujana does. Over to you, Brigadier.
Yeah. Once again, welcome you, especially the guests who have honored us by being present with us. Professor Anil Gupta, Dr. P.S. Goyal, then the Director IIT Hyderabad will join us, and Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, and all the innovators, farmers, friends, admirers, and the members from civil society and the farmer system. It's an amazing family today. And I'm sure so many on the YouTube you are watching, which we have restricted this number in the entry. Thank you very much. Akila, can I have the slide, please? Yeah. See, Palle Srujana implies village creativity in Telugu word, and it's a voluntary group started in 2005. In fact, my motivation is from NIF. It was from Professor Anil Gupta and Dr. Mashelkar. While in the army, I had an opportunity to interact with them. And from there on, I was so inspired by the work NIF and Honeybee Network doing. So when I retired from army, came to Andhra Pradesh, then Andhra Pradesh started in 2005. And it's a great journey for the last 16 years. We are restricted ourselves to Telugu states. Earlier, one state, now Telugu states, because I am Telugu and we thought we must do what we can. And it's purely voluntary group. And as a member of Honeybee Network, what Palle Srujana has been doing is nurturing grassroots and also providing, like always Professor Gupta says, voice, visibility, and velocity to grassroots innovators of Telugu states. Yeah, you know what is Honeybee Network, and it's a virtual voluntary, but it brings nameless, faceless people into identity. We have Mallesham, we have Venkat Reddy, we have so many people who have got Padma Shri, and they're present today. Thank you very much, Mallesham Garu and Venkat Reddy Garu. And we are proud to give them name, identity, and the work we do is the philosophy of Honeybee Network, where reciprocal, responsible, and mutual respect. With that, we do knowledge exchange. And that is a wonderful experience we have. And we have been collaborating with National Innovation Foundation since 2005. And in fact, we use for documentation, we use National Innovation forms, the prior informed consent and the documentation. And I found one of the finest forms we have where everything is there and we translate local language and do it. And the collaboration has been excellent with National Innovation Foundation, support from the government. Dr. P.S. Goyal is now the chairman, but a long innings with Dr. Mashelkar was very, very fruitful. Yes, please. Yeah, we also worked with Telangana State Innovation Council. We started in 2018, Innovation Cell started 2018, and since then, Palle Srujana and TSSA worked together. And lots of things have happened, and hand-holding and scouting. They have started Tinta Innovator Scouting, and a lot of things are going. I think a system coming into the grassroots sector, we found Telangana has done fairly well in the last 3 years. Corona came in the way, but I'm sure it's going to take off. Our approach is we believe creativity, and we have only the goodness of the people which works here and pure volunteerism, and society never ever disappointed us. There's always volunteers to do the job in time and to the right quality and to the right level of acceptance. And our philosophy is Samvedana. That's where I think Honeybee Network lives on. Yes. We have decided to have no organization, no authority, no targets, therefore no failures, only success we have. And we live on the success, small, however small it is. And Palle Srujana is striving, doing, happily moving along. Yep. This is the process. Those who do not know, it was scouting. That's the most challenging thing. We go to the people, not they come to us. And with the digitalization, the things are a little better now. They reach us, then we'll go physically to see them. Documentation is very, very important to get connected grassroots innovators, the formal system for patenting, awards, rewards, or business development or anything. And that's a part which we have to do very carefully so that the innovators' knowledge is properly projected. We all do this. In this, we take help of National Innovation Foundation, other network members, and the local governments, local volunteers, various institutions. Even IPR lawyers also help us in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Yes, please. So just to say how volunteers in the last 16 years have done, we have at least 1,000+ volunteers, all ages, 80s to even the 10 years. And amazing people have helped us. We scouted more than 400 innovations and 50+ best form practices. We have patents, 22 of them. Some of them, and I have got some of them locally. We've got it. Over 80 innovations are in the market, and we have been selling almost 15 crores in the last 5 years in grassroots innovations. We have done innovation displays for dissemination of innovations, various places from the village to the national level. And production facility centers in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, over 20 are there in the villages and established by the people. Some support we did, some support we got from the formal system and the people and institutions. These production facilities are giving almost 200 direct employment, and our turnover I mentioned. And we have calculated just by each innovation how it reached. Over 8 lakh people in Telugu states are enjoying the benefits of the grassroots innovation in the last decade. And one of the finest achievement we have is 1,500 Lakshmi Aso machines have been given to the Pojapalli weavers, removing the drudgery of the women permanently. And this we could do with help of society. Of course, Innovator Malaysian is there. And we want to do more. I think it is going to be done in the next 2-3 years when we complete the total requirement. We also felt that horizontal dissemination of knowledge is gathering momentum, because when we connect people to the innovators the people through various means, they are talking amongst themselves. And that we get to know through innovators. This dialogue, continuous dialogue between the innovators and the people, I think this is catching up in Telangana. I felt it right from 2005 now. It's amazing. Added to that is a digital facility we have with the villages. We also do Student Connect, where we have MOUs and we go to schools, capture the creativity. We go to colleges, show them innovation, display of innovation. We do take them to villages. And we have also MOU with IAST, where we test they help us in making innovations into prototypes or validations. So we publish Telugu bi-monthly, and this is Palle Srujana. We have both the NABARD, CGMs of NABARD, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh have subscribed for over 550 for all the FPOs, DDMs, every cooperative. Thanks to them. And the kind of visibility of the Palle Srujana has increased. Similarly, Telangana government given up 50 libraries. Singareni colleges give 150. Besides individual institutions are slowly coming up. But yes, a lot to be done. Every village should get this. Every school should get it. Every library should get it. I'm sure it will happen one day. And rural internship, what we do is catching up. And the last 3-4 years, we've done 1,300 internships for Tata Institute of Social Science, NAM and IIT, Kharagpur, VNIT, IIIT. I mean, a lot of even normal colleges, women's and IITs, polytechnics also come to us. We just take them to village, and rural internship is done. We don't charge them, and we don't pay them. Chinna Shodha Yatra is a spirit of Shodha Yatra started with Anil Gupta. I walked with him and I found amazing experience in walking in unknown area, unknown people, learning a lot from them. We thought, why should not we give the similar opportunity, the great opportunity to Telugu people? So we started Chinna Shodha Yatra in 2011. Chinna is small in Telugu. There were 3 days, while Professor Gupta does a bigger one for 7 days at a time. So we did 38 so far. I think amazing experience, and the participants and then the people, we connected so many people, learned so much about the villages and their livelihood and their creativity. Next. A lot of other initial, like Gram Swayam Samruddhi, we started a pilot project, but Corona came in the way. Whereas the latest, the weekly webinars, I think we are discussing about today. Gyan Shodhis, we assess a village, sit there in the village for 4 or 5 days, assess its strengths and weaknesses and imports and exports, aspirations, all this we assess the village, not the demography, but the things which are not generally assessed, we do that. And the last one is, he says, so far we have been scouting only solutions. Now we said, why let's just identify the problems and find solutions with the help of innovators we have today. We have about 300 innovators with us, and they have production facilities. So we started Me Samasya Ma Parishkaram, your problem, our solution. So we seek them. The last 6 months we have been asking for this, brought over 22, and we already solved half of them, and solutions were given back to them. Amazing innovators with the production facilities. Any problem thrown upon them, they come out with a solution, appropriate and affordable. Yeah.
Professor Murthy has joined us. Sir, thank you very much for joining.
Yeah. Welcome, Dr. Murthy Garu.
Namaste, sir. I'm sorry, I had a class just now finished. I'm sorry.
Happy that I know you're a busy man. Thanks for coming. We are very honored for your presence.
We recently started some courses for industry people, working professionals, and the classes are from 5:30 to 7. So I teach one of those classes Wednesday and Friday, 5:30 to 7. So just finished that class. Sorry.
Okay, let me continue. The next one, please. So display of grassroots innovation is very important, because dissemination, if you don't do all the knowledge what we scouted and documented, it will have no use to society. So we try to do in the Telugu states for masses, for students, for entrepreneurs, and various people. And we have a innovation diffusion center at Secunderabad. And Chinnaswada Yatras, we disseminate, we display innovation which we collected in the previous yatras or otherwise, and also posters and videos. And the digital print media, all the e-commerce platforms we are displaying, so that the visibility is there. People use them, and innovators get the satisfaction of their innovation is being used by the nation. Next. Recognitions, this is also a satisfaction to say that the significant knowledge of the villages have been projected for the farmer society to recognize it, and they're recognized, and that gives a tremendous satisfaction to us. As the Padma Shris and President of India awards, mostly through a National Innovation Foundation, and we got National Entrepreneur Awards and International Award. Recently, we got 2 international awards for Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and so many other things. What you see, even Mallesham, a picture has been made of him. He got honorary doctorate, and local awards are there. And in the Asian International Festival, again, one of Telugu innovator, Tirupati Rao, got a first prize in 2019. Then the impact is, what we have saw in the last 16 years in Telangana is low-cost solutions is providing grassroots innovators in various livelihood of the villages. And affordability is what makes availability. Then appropriateness, these are the words we use every time in Honeybee Network, and sustainability is there. MLM, principle of more from less from many, is amazingly ensures sustainability. The input is less, output is more, such kind of a nature's principle. And we see reduced input cost when they use it. We see some of the videos, you find that input cost reduced by using these innovations. Next. Impact has been, lesser cost of development, and since people make the villages what they local problems, local solutions, local technologies, local resources mostly, so wealth distribution is possible. And Pochampalli tradition survived, my dear friends. Please accept my statement, because it's true that because of Asu machine Mallesham, Pochampalli tradition, which was almost came to 100 looms in 1999, came back now again, rebounded to full numbers and more, because Asu machine was provided by Mallesham. The women need not be used for Asu machine. They can go to school and their development, but the tradition continues. Yeah. So the present model of if you make it and distribute to more should be reversed. It's possible only when these innovations are decentralized manufacture takes place in the villages as much as possible. So more manufacturers, millions of manufacturers supply to the world, And that is the way grassroots innovations model itself provides that opportunity. Yes. We have dreams. I just listed down. I'm sure some of them can be possible. Most of them can be possible. At least we feel they're not utopian with our experience on the ground. And inclusiveness and equity has to be in real, not in words. First we exclude them, then try to include them later, and that should stop. We must include right from the beginning. I think that's the way we move ahead. And we feel it can happen. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for listening to my our Palle Srujana journey so far.
Thank you, Brigadier. Thank you very much. That also helped us understand a little more about Palle Srujana than what we already know. I now welcome Mahesh to present about the whole purpose of weekly webinars and how it all happened and how a success story it has been. Yeah, over to you, Mahesh.
Thank you, Agla. Thank you for making us all feel welcome. Hello, everyone. I'm Sri Mahesh. I'm a proud volunteer of Palle Srujana, and I work as Senior Product Manager at Amazon. So today I'm very excited to talk about the weekly webinars, which has been a very big success for us in the last 1 year. So in this slide, I'm going to show you all how did the idea or the concept of this webinar really started. So before October of 2020, Palle Srujana has done around 300 exhibitions in the last 6 years, and which includes trade shows, agricultural forums, also academic institutions across the Telugu states, and that has been a great success for us. However, during the pandemic situation, I think we were all forced to go online. The entire world was forced to go online. And then Palle Srujana, with the guidance of Brigadier, and particularly by Subhash Chandra, who is also the CEO of Creative Minds, presented in a webinar that is organized by TSIC and NABARD. And that was the starting point or the seeding moment for this initiative. And then we felt that Brigadier and Subhash Chandra felt that why don't we take up this platform, bring up the farmers, bring up the innovators, everyone under the same platform, and scale it up. So that's how it started. I think the first weekly webinar was conducted October of 2020, and it was aptly supported by fellow volunteers like Akila, Omkar, Sai, Srikant. But just a fact before I go to the next slide. This webinar was conducted every week since October 2020 till date, every week, irrespective of situations outside and it's I understand, and it's very challenging, and it's a very inspiring story that a webinar is conducted without fail every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. without fail. I'd like to take this moment to congratulate Subhash for doing a mind-blowing and a splendid job in taking it this far. I think other point to note is while the pandemic was going on, the farm necessities kept on the same. The necessities were not going down, and they were in fact going up in this period. And with many farmers or rural families buying cell phones for their kids' education, also allowed them to come online and join these webinars. I think that has given us a positive impact for many farmers to join these webinars. So let's look at the format of the webinar that we have. So as I mentioned, every Wednesday we conduct this webinar 7 to 8 p.m. and it's conducted in Google Meet and YouTube Live, where farmers could just click a link and join and look at the view of the innovations. Another interesting thing is, over the last 52 weeks, there are new innovations showcased every webinar, 2-3 new innovations every webinar without repetition. So I think that's again a very grand success, and shows the depth of innovations that are present in the Telugu states. And I wonder if that's the scale of innovations available at Telugu states, what would be the amount of innovations in the entire nation? Anyway, so coming back to the webinar, so there are demo videos played by the webinar, by the innovators. They introduce the innovation, they play the demo videos, they showcase the photos, and the entire content is in Telugu language so that farmers, innovators can interact and look at the innovation, understand it. And as part of each webinar, we also invite a volunteer to talk about Palle Srujana and their experience with Palle Srujana, as well as one guest speaker. So we had a guest from NGOs, FPOs, academicians from different spectrums of society coming into this webinar and talking about what they like about Palle Srujana, how important grassroots innovation is for the society, etc. In addition to that, we also looked at, farmers also come up with challenges. So they communicate the farmer challenges and they take this forum to communicate these challenges to Palle Srujana, which are passed over to the innovators for quite a number of solutions. Other point I would also like to add is we could, Palle Srujana and all the volunteers could present 2-3 innovations every week with the help of Krishna Garu from Chilklurpet. He has been a wonderful scouting resource for us in scouting a number of innovations over the last 1 year in spite of pandemic situations. So I would like to congratulate Krishna Garu as well for his splendid effort. And with doing this webinar over the last 1 year, let's take a quick look at what have we achieved, or how did we scale, and what was the reach of this webinar. So 51 weeks, 51 webinars, and 99 new innovators were introduced. And there were around 196 innovations showcased by these innovators in the last 1 year. There were 54 guests, and in total, we see around 20,000 plus people, attending this webinar and taking advantage of the content or the innovations in this webinar. And we also try to put together these innovations into different segments, and you could look at the breadth of these innovations. It just touches every, not just farm innovations. There are human medicines, animal medicines, herbal liquids for households, hospital equipment, transportation vehicles. The breadth of innovations is amazing, and it clearly shows the rural innovations or the rural, the mind gold mine, I would call, can innovate not just for farming sector but across the sectors. So, but if I had to put these innovations into some broad innovation categories, you could see that majority of innovations are coming from farm machinery, followed by farm produce processing, and there is rural transportation, there is human wellness, and we have biostimulants and herbicides, other categories. So again, a very, very great story and very great stuff. And now with that, I would like to play some of the innovations. We've chosen few innovations to run and show you what these innovations are. So this is a 10 to 15 minute video where we showcase a list of innovations. I would request all your patience in going through these innovations.
One can do almost a hectare in a day. My father is sold almost 2,000 so far. The tractor was not useful when the plants grew taller. So somebody asked what to do. So he raised the tractor height. Budesa, a person who never went to school. He made a tractor with 6.5 horsepower, and he managed to comfortably utilize it for 5 acres of total cultivation with a trailer, which carries about 800 kgs. It has a reverse gear and it can carry loads, as you see. With a drip pipe, we don't generally give a winder, so they keep pulling and it goes bad. So he made a drip pipe winder with a village, with a kitchen utensils. Mainly for planting seeds. Once the holes are made easy for the people to put the seeds and close it with a foot. There's another mini tractor being lifted. He made new wheels to raise it. And it could comfortably do spraying and weeding. The small and marginal farmers, they can adjust depending on the road distance. This is generally mixed with the sand. It is added to the field a day before the transplantation, and it's working very well. This year we tried in 5,000 acres, and I think there's no weeds at all. No weeds at all. Purely herbal. Only when the tractor, this digger is cannot be lifted on one side. So he made a provision so that near the bunds, he can dig it properly. Otherwise, the bunds are left unplowed. There's a problem he faced, and he did it using the existing tractor's power and linkages. The toast dries up, engine gets burned. So he used the cooling system and said wherever there's no water in the cooling system, the engine switches off. A small gadget, he made it very effective for avoiding damage to the engines. People do with hands or legs. Now this innovation, this is thousands of quintals to churning is difficult. So this is a small method he made it. Alladi Prabhakar. Oats and seeds both for cotton. This year we tried out for the first time, and I think the crop germination was 95%. It's a very simple device where instead of bending and making a hole and putting the seed, this lady just stands up and does it. Even that arch is used for distance between two seeds. It's a 5 horsepower engine, but can be used for 1 foot row separation or 3 feet row separation. The engine remains same, but the wheel adjustment and the attachment adjustment is the one which makes farmer use for various dry crops. This is a manual seeder. Again, hole making in a small and marginal farmers. He made one small with a welded pieces. He made small one where it makes the holes, and the rods on the wheel gives you the row separation, the seed separation. The demand for food has gone up, but the making with hand is very difficult. So people made lots of automatic machines, grassroots innovators, to make all these, including kaja, all the sweets we sell it, rings, papdi, for everything they made machines. All mostly in the grassroots innovators in the towns and cities of coastal Andhra and Hyderabad. And this is where we use that palli ka patti khate hain, but uski chilka nikalna hai. So he found a machine to take out that. There's a void in the village of transportation. Bailgadi nikal gaya, or trailer transport is a tractor transport only one. So we created a small 6 feet by 3 feet by 2 feet. It can be driven by any primo available in the village, from moped to tractor, bike, and it can be used when the weeder also can drive it. It can carry loads. So this fills the void of transportation in the village. Now is required much more with the modernization. There's a fine sand separator made by Srinivas, a little more technology based than the one which you have seen earlier. They compressed and they just fry and sell it. The size and the weight all are controlled. This is one method of making rings. Shifting patient from bed to chair, or chair to bed, bed to trolley is always stretcher is a problem. It's a very simple patient shifting sheets have been made by Alladi Prabhakar. Mobile brick machine, it can be transported anywhere. So the way the bricks are available or made, mud is available. A tractor can pull this, but automatically you see so many people working and quite number of bricks are made. This is made by one sheikh, again grassroots innovator. Elders and orthopedic patients or bedridden patients is always a problem to look after at home, especially for going to washrooms. he made a provision right there. And this can be connected to a sewage or in a collector and then throw it out later, or connected to sewage directly. In the village, we don't have cranes. Thereby, everything is done manually. A lot of time and energy and injuries possible. Now, Maipalchari made a crane. You see the green portion is the crane, which runs with takes the power from tractor. It can raise up to 15 feet and carry 800 kgs, lift 800 kgs. Very cheap. It sells at 8,000 rupees. The seeds of chili are separated from the seed, from the fruit. Reddy is also part of us today. He's made a miller, a small miller, which it can be done domestically or in the small village, and one miller for rice and all millets. And finally, you get ready for use. And the percentage of retrieval of rice is very high. It is a miller different. So that's all we have. Some of them we have shown you, but the sample. I'm sure you got a hint of what innovators have displayed to the farmers. Yes, next please. Akila, can we move to the next?
Yeah. All right, thank you very much for watching. So now I invite Mr. Venkat. Sorry. Yes. Okay, so you have seen a lot of innovations here. In case you want to know more about any of the innovations, మీ ఎవరికన్నా ఇంకా ఎక్కువ తెలుసుకోవాలి ఏదైనా ఇన్నోవేషన్ గురించి అంటే సుభాష్ చంద్రని కాంటాక్ట్ చేయొచ్చు. ఈ కాంటాక్ట్ నెంబర్ మీరు నోట్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. Yeah. All right. So with this, I now welcome Mr. Venkatesh Reddy, who's also a volunteer of Palle Srujana, to talk about how webinars have impacted innovators. What role did webinars play for innovators? He will be sharing impressions of innovators with us. Over to you, Venkat.
Welcome. And as Akila shared about this, because this entire unique initiative of webinars is around the innovators. We want to, Palle Srujana and Creative Minds come together, and they started this initiative to facilitate for the innovators so that their innovations can reach to the needy people in the society. So when we are trying to interact, more than close to 100 innovators have participated this in 51 webinars. So when we try to understand what their impressions on this weekly webinars, so there are many they expressed, but due to the paucity of time, I'm just sharing 7 impressions, key innovations they commonly shared from these innovators. So first one, which is come across majority of the innovators, is they found this platform as a solution in disseminating their innovations to the needy people in the society. So the innovations, once they reach to the people who required, they felt very happy, and they find that this weekly webinars as a platform which really helping them to connect with the society and disseminate their innovations to the needy people in the society. And second, very commonly came out impression is that they found this is an opportunity to interact with the end users, because when they are innovated that innovation, so they may by facing some problem or by understanding the circumstances, they able to innovate that one. But now when they are trying to interact with the end users, when they're having the dialogue with the end users across the different geographies and location, so they find this as a very important platform for to understand the current problems of the different geography people and further challenges what they are facing and what are the solutions they're expecting. So the dialogue what they're having in this interactions of weekly webinars, it really acting as a food for thought for their future innovations. So that was another very key impression they got it from the we got it from the innovators. And they also shared that Palle Srujana is the one organization which helped them to earlier, they help them to talk about their innovation and express about their innovations to the society. Now they also help them to use this technology and use this platform to interact with the people. So they really shared that happiness when we are interacting, taking their impressions. And very another added benefit they shared is that their intention of participating in this weekly webinars is mainly to share and spread the knowledge to the people in the community. But they're also getting the added benefit through these weekly webinars. They are getting some orders, some people who are participated in the webinar, some people who watched in the stored YouTube videos. So they are approaching them to get their innovations for their problems. So that's the added benefit they shared about they are getting. That's what they shared by the innovators. And very interesting thing, one more impression shared by these innovators is, so earlier they don't know, they have innovated something, but they don't know way to share their innovation, whom to express. But these weekly webinars, it spread in the, due to the spread in the community, some people know that there is some platform which is happening, weekly webinars are happening. So we can go there and we can present and we can reach to the more number of people. That's how now we are able to see the more new innovators who are reaching to Palle Srujana to share their innovations in the weekly webinars. So which is a very happiest thing. So this weekly webinar is also helping for the supporting of the new innovators. And last one very key impression which has come across through the innovators is that not only this weekly webinar which is happening on the live is helping to reach the people, but also the stored archives of YouTube. So which is helping them to share with the people wherever they want to know about the innovation, they can share the link so that they can listen to the everything. So that's how it's helping to reach the more number of people. At the same time, if by chance, if they miss that some webinar on the Wednesday, it's also helping them to go to listen through that one in leisure time, know about their other innovators and what they are doing. So it's helping them to connect with all the innovators also. So these are the 7 key impressions we jot down by interacting with all these 99 innovators who participated in this one. So thanks a lot. With this, Akila, can invite the next.
Yes, thank you very much for sharing with us. All right, so now that we heard about what innovators thought about the webinars, let's hear about what farmers thought about it, how it benefited them. Durga Prasad is going to share that with us. Over to you, Durga Prasad.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. The back. Okay, I'm audible. So the background of Palle Srujana disseminating the grassroots knowledge was like almost 38 Shodhyatras was conducted last decade, and whatever the out of yatras, there is a lot of knowledge. We seek a lot of knowledge from the villages and documented and printed in the magazines. And more than 2 lakhs print magazines were distributed. And from the last decade, I'm sorry.
Sound is breaking. You please continue. Please continue.
Okay. From the last 1 year, so we were almost we were forced to shift to the online. So we found a new tool to experiment these webinars. So almost within very one second, I have. Out of adversity, maybe during pandemic, we learned the new tool that disseminated the knowledge of Palle Srujana innovators, and organizing 50+ webinars in the less than 1 year and reached the 2,000, almost 20,000 people is something which we are celebrating today. and thanks to Subhash. And the major outcomes of this weekly webinars is like the one Palle Srujana always believed that inclusive and sustainable growth is important. So there's a lot of effort has been made to involve farmers because it is not their comfort zone, and also demonstrated a lot of innovations, groundbreaking grassroots innovations, so that so many farmers are having hands-on innovations now into their farms, and farmers and farm laborers are becoming more efficient. So because of these webinars. Next one, please. There is one of the farmer impression is like Venkatram Reddy. He attended more than 40 webinars. He got to know the Palle Srujana only through the webinars, and he feels like every Wednesday he feels like he's watching a TV show, interesting TV show, and also he spread this word to a lot of farmers, and he's very grateful about this initiative. And Mr. Anjaya, he used one of the innovators product, Mahipal Weeder's product, and in the cotton farming, and he found that it is a reliable solution as well. And he is inspired from a lot of innovators, and he himself want to become an innovator. And he says that the farmers needs change every month. So there's a lot of scope for innovators to innovate in the farming. Next one, please. Mr. Ravi Gaud, he was associated with Palle Srujana for a long time, and so he used a lot of innovative products from the Palle Srujana, and he feels that every farmer deserves to participate in this program and to get the benefit out of it. So Mr. Ravi Gaud, he's a member of the NFPO. He introduced Palle Srujana to a lot of farmers, and he used a lot of innovations as well, and he purchased apple plants and carrot seeds from our innovators. And he suddenly had a problem with the cow, and in the weekly webinars he discussed with Chandrasekhar Garu, and he found the cure for it. And the major, what we found, the behavioral shift is most of the farmers are becoming innovators to solve their problems. And they're feeling comfortable to buy the innovators products now, and they're also inspiring innovations for recreating it. And there's a lot of behavior shift happened. Generally, it's all smallholder farmers need a bit more handhold support to realize the importance of innovations. And now, because of these weekly webinars, they're feeling more inclusive, and they're taking the help. And the major human element is they're appreciating the efforts of innovator and partnering with them in their process of farming. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Satya. You also mentioned like very subtle points of very important, like how farmers found a lot of value in what innovators have been doing, and how this platform had helped them reach out to innovators, do a lot about what they're already doing. And one great thing that you've mentioned is how it encouraged them to be innovators themselves, solve their own problems, and also reach out to innovators when in need. Thank you very much for presenting. I now welcome Kalpana Shastri Garu to talk about how formal system has been helping us, and also how our connection between formal system and grassroots innovations can take forward. Kalpana Shastri Garu, are you here? Over to you.
Kindly unmute and speak, please.
Yeah. Now it's okay.
Thank you.
So, am I visible? I've just come home. I was on the road.
You are visible. You were.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, Professor Anil Gupta Garu and Dr. Rao Garu and Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, if he has joined, and all the guests. It's a real privilege to talk. Like like our brigadier sir said, that he was enthused and motivated because of Dr. Anil Gupta. I had attended a small seminar for a week at IIM in way back in 2003, and it impacted my mind so much that my association with Palle Srujana has been total from that day onwards. when Palle Srujana, we got an opportunity for Palle Srujana to be launched in the Telugu states, I just thought it was a golden chance, and that set the beginning for me for my association. Having said that, since I was always in agriculture as a scientist in the formal sector, it has always been my urge to formalize that connection. And even today, after 2005 to 2020, perhaps I still feel this is something which we really have to look. And when we have such, stalwarts honoring us with their presence today, I would like to even, I don't know, something is, I would like to make another passionate plea to everyone. How do we actually formalize this? Because I find that it is mostly person oriented. All the innovators in this 99, I know many of them. Andaru chala baga panchestunaru. I'm using Telugu only to actually mainstream them. Our attempt has been to mainstream them. But perhaps a little bit of more connectivity needs to be systematically institutionalized. It cannot be person. As long as Brigadier is there, or as long as Kalpana is there sitting in one institute, we do it. But can we have start rethinking in 2022 to formalize that connectivity so that we develop more motivated students? These volunteers have done a great job today. Can we build that pool of motivated volunteers to come in and on their own, instead of making it a curriculum which is compulsory for them, and somehow build that connectivity? Maybe Mr. Jayesh Ranjan is there in Telugu, at least in Telangana, TSIC is already started. But still, we need to have that formal connect so that the innovators build a trust with us and come to us seamlessly. Most of the time when we interact with the innovators, we spend a lot of time gaining their trust. Palle Srujana is doing a great job, and I have used that platform to gain that trust. But beyond Palle Srujana also, if we have to bring grassroots innovation into our societal and have a small space for them, not together with the other entrepreneurs or innovators. Brigadier Garu, we must, Chandrasekhar Garu is there. You know how we tried to mainstream him and make him pitch in front of the big and Bayrak, pitches. It doesn't work. It cannot be the same platform for them to make their pitch for their innovation. And that's the plea I'm trying to, we have seen it now. Conducting 52 seminars is such a success story. It's a great success story, and our innovators are capable of using this digital platforms very, very easily now. So that's the success we have learned today. Can we make it to the next level where we formalize that connection and try and take our innovators? Because I find most of them are running, maybe Mallesham, maybe even I think Venkatreddy Garu is there, or Chandrasekhar is there. Everybody is actually running on their own feet, and if we have to make them run, they are used to walking, of course, I agree, but system has to formalize it. And through this 5 minutes, which was a few minutes which was given, I'm actually putting up the case of Palle Srujana formally to all the guests to think and give us ideas how we can formalize it. I had a taste of it recently. We had the chairman NABARD at our place where it's called AGA. Mr. Jayesh Ranjan knows about it. We look at a hub of innovations in the agri-food sector. And I found a lot of receptivity from NABARD. The NABARD CGM had actually talked about the 51st webinar. And immediately there was a lot of acceptance of taking it forward. So that's good news. But then we need to fasten it and take it on the fast track. So with this plea that we need to, there are opportunities. At least I have learned in these last 20 years that there are ways to formalize it. But my worry is it has been mostly person oriented. If we are at the helm of the verse, because I'm passionate about grassroots, I take it forward. but what about after me? So that's the plea we have to really take. And I congratulate the team here for the, 51 is a great number. I know how Subhash has been running and trying to engage, but today we can be proud to say that all the grassroots innovators, the 99 of them, have learned, have been mainstreamed using this technology, and are no way less than any of us here. Thanks a lot again, Palle Srujana, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very, very much, Kalpana ma'am. Like you, I really appreciate how you called out the need and emphasized very thoroughly about the need of creating the formal space for grassroots innovators, a separate formal space, right? Not mixed up.
Yeah, no mixing, no mixing.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, so we now move ahead with our guests. I would like to first introduce Professor Gupta Garu to all of you. Professor Gupta was a visiting faculty at the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. He served as a professor there. He's now a visiting faculty. He's also a CSIR Bhatnagar Fellow. He's the founder of the Honeybee Network, National Innovation Foundation, Srishti and Gyan. He was awarded Padma Shri in 2004 for his contributions to management education. He led 43 Shodhyatras, covering more than 5,000 kilometers. That is each time in each state, covering all the states in India at least once during 1998 to 2016. He started the second round from 2017 onwards, along with other Honeybee Network volunteers. He also authored a book, Grassroots Innovations, Minds on the Margin Are Not Marginal Minds, which was awarded the Best Business Book Award at Tata Lit Live Festival on 20th of November 2016. So Professor Gupta, very hearty welcome to you. Thank you for joining us here, and we're pleased to have you with us. Before you start off, I want to personally tell you that this quote of yours, minds on the margin are not marginal minds, we use it every time we talk about grassroots innovations to people, because that's a very nice way to connect with them. Thank you very much for giving us that, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Akila. Thank you, Kalpana. Thank you, Brigadier. Thank you, all the dear friends who are present. And I must say that Director IT and Brigadier and Shri Koyalji, Honeybee Network takes great pride, and I must compliment Brigadier for extraordinary zeal, enthusiasm, devotion, and sincerity of purpose that he has shown in steering the activity of not just Palle Srujana, but Honeybee Network itself. Because in various Shodhyatras, as you mentioned, we were together, and in the process, we discussed. He talked to many young people who will like to hear his advice and his passion. And in fact, during those Shodhyatras, he infected so many people who are later on joined as volunteers with him. So, Brigadier, a great appreciation for what all you have done and your team has done. It gives me immense joy and happiness, because a small seed sown many years ago during our meeting at the Innovation in Army workshop at the Army headquarters triggered this. And I think you made up your mind even before you retired that that's what you're going to do. And you and your wife, both of them deserve appreciation. Mrs. Ganesham deserves even more appreciation, because without her support, I don't think you could have done all this. So I think, Mrs. Ganesham, if you are listening to this, my salute, my pranam to you, and my thanks to you, because you have helped this network to grow so much. Many times the indirect support from our families remains hidden. And yeah, I know that both of you used to travel in your personal car to various places before Palle Srujana came into being. And at your own cost, you will go and meet the innovators. So I admire that. Now, coming to this whole chain of events that has happened, I must say that I would just spend a minute to mention that this is a very important moment for me, because as Brigadier mentioned, the voice, visibility, and velocity to the creative and innovative minds of our society. And not just India, but now we have expanded the network through UNDP Innovation Extension Lab to 113 countries with 90 labs. Now this is from G to G model, grassroots to global model. And I'm extremely happy that even though NIF under the new leadership may have disconnected from Honeybee Network, but Honeybee Network has not disconnected. And we'll continue to support NIF and all other institutions because we believe that we have created it and we have a responsibility, moral and social responsibility to sustain it and to protect it from all other efforts to reduce and dilute its identity, which we will not let happen, no matter what. We will try our best because it's our baby. And I know that in Rashtrapati Bhavan, when we organized the Festival of Innovation, Brigadier brought so many innovators who would be there. And in fact, they stayed. Some of them have stayed as a guest of President of India for 2 weeks. Brigadier, you know that. So that effort will continue. And there may be small ups and downs, but that doesn't matter. People come and go, but the strength of the network is what you have shown through your weekly webinars. You continue to discover new people, you continue to find new innovations, and that's wonderful. The point that Kalpana raised was very important also, that how do we strengthen the linkages between the formal and informal system? I'm now beginning to reflect on this issue and coming to a view which is paradoxical, but slightly different from what I used to believe, let's say 30 years ago. And I think this link should remain little loosely coupled. If it is too strong, then perhaps we will acquire all the habits of the public sector, and we'll acquire all the habits of the bureaucracy, and we'll acquire all the inertia of the bureaucracy and all the indifference that bureaucracy brings sometimes to the cause that is so dear to us, to you, to us, to all of us. So I think let this link remain a little bit loose coupled, but which means that while we want their help, and we will help them also, but we don't have to necessarily get too close in this arrangement because we don't want to infect our values by the bureaucratic values. I know Jayesh is listening to me, and he will realize that there are constraints in bureaucracy which we don't want to suffer from. But we can relax those constraints by bypassing them and reaching the people directly to the other innovators. That's what they call the cross-pollination function. There were 4 key things that Brigadier mentioned. I will to repeat. One, that what people should not become anonymous. Their identity should be identified. And you would have noticed that each slide had not just the name and place of the person, but also had the telephone number of the person. And I appreciate that point. So that you don't have to come to us. You don't have to go to Brigadier. You can go directly to the innovator. And I think that is the strength. That is the key point that one must remember. Second thing that came out during the presentation was that we don't have to use the same standards of novelty or originality that we may use for, let us say, national awards. We are not giving awards. We are trying to expand their opportunities. So therefore, if some of the innovations might have appeared to some people, may not be too distinctive from what has been done elsewhere, doesn't matter. For in a local context, they're meeting a need, and we need to really replicate them. So we must recognize the difference between recognizing innovation for award versus recognizing innovations for livelihood. These are different goals. And that is the second lesson which I get from you, that we must recognize that a scale should not become enemy of sustainability. Just because an innovation will not spread beyond a district does not reduce its legitimacy, does not reduce its relevance, does not reduce its value. So I'm very happy that through Creative Minds and other channels, you have been able to recognize this potential. And I think this is the way Gandhian concept of decentralized entrepreneurship, decentralized development will be achieved. The third lesson that I found from your presentation and from what all you have done over the years, and as I have seen, that yes, you have not been agnostic to where the help comes from. I mean, whosoever wants to help is welcome. Doesn't matter where you are from. And if they don't help, that's also all right. I mean, the fact that you were open, you had an open mind, open arms to receive support and to share support has been very helpful. And I think the fourth lesson, very important, that just as Honeybee Network has no legal structure, Palle Srujana has no legal structure. And that is a very important lesson, because the moment you create legal structures, the hierarchies, the bureaucracy, the politics, the vested interests, and all of those start emerging to some extent or the other. But when you have an informal network, it is entirely voluntary. And the true spirit of voluntary movement, which you have been able to show, is highly greatly admired. I want to tell you a little bit about what we have done recently in the Honeybee Network. You know that from Visakhapatnam, one lady got an international award. She got HBN Cray Award, which Gyan had coordinated on behalf of Honeybee Network, where she developed a tomato shelf life enhancer. And I thought I should mention, especially on this occasion, because sometimes she should be on your webinar, because we should highlight how a lady has found a solution for a very serious problem of the country, not just country, for the world, that tomatoes sometimes have to be thrown on the street because there is not enough demand or enough market for them. And she has found a solution for that. So it shows that the grassroots innovators can solve those problems which scientists have not been able to solve. And I think this is a very important lesson. The scientists have a great deal to learn from the grassroots innovations. How can they solve problems so frugally, with so little cost, and with such an open heart? They're showing their innovation everywhere. You remember, Brigadier, when I came in last time, some years ago, there was an exhibition, and people don't, I mean, we may have filed patents for them, but they don't restrict their innovation from being, let us say, learned from by others. That's a very important lesson, that practically everybody has been open in sharing their ideas. I've been to Malaysian's house. I'm so happy that he's here. And I remember that he was struggling, and he was trying to develop so many other machines. You know, he developed a wire twisting machine and so many other things. And he also did something for the defense. I mean, he's such a creative mind. All because he was affected by what you mentioned earlier about some Vedana, that the mother was feeling pain, that she couldn't do the conventional lasso, which required 9,000 times windings in birth for one sari and 18,000 times for two saris in a day. So that was the pain which he internalized himself. And I remember he had to run away from his village when debts had increased and the problem was not getting solved. And how one night he was going around and looking at he was doing the window shopping. And then he found a toy which was having the mechanism that exactly triggered his mind and got the solution. I am witness to that process, and Brigadier, you have supported him like anything. So it is a wonderful day that you have brought us all together. I'm so happy. I will just mention 2 or 3 things before I conclude. And one of the ideas that I want to share with you is that the ideas, when it comes to the application, need not come from local area. We take some mobile phone built in Finland or somewhere else, Norway or whatever, or Korea, and we don't hesitate in using. Why should grassroots innovators hesitate in taking ideas from anywhere they want? So that we must expose them to ideas from other regions, other states, other parts of the country, and sometimes even other countries for that matter. We should not hesitate in that, because we have to expand choices of these small farmers, marginal farmers, workers, and anything which can help them is welcome. Second thing I would say is that you mentioned about YouTube. You should mention here on some slide the YouTube link so that everybody notices that link. Akila, please make a slide of that and show everybody, so that people know that those who came late, some people I know are joining now. Well, you may have missed a lot of things, but you can still recap them by going to the YouTube link and get them from there. Third thing I would say, that disregarding the weakness of the link with NIF, I don't think we should mind it too much. Times come and time change, and someday things will change. I'm absolutely confident, because the kernel of values is not changed. I mean, that will stay there, and I'm sure Vipin and his team will sooner or later gather the wits and recognize that this link has helped the institutions and the country so much that we need to maybe in some way restore. But nevertheless, the point remains that we must continue to strengthen the horizontal network of Honeybee Network, which means that we should continue to support each other and continue to take ideas from each other. And, Palle Srujana, I know, takes innovations from other regions, and other regions take innovations from Palle Srujana. That effort should continue. I think that is what the strength is. And now with the expanding global network, I would say that we should also take ideas from other countries and share our ideas with other countries. That is our next frontier. We are trying to build a global GYAN, which will implement G2G model. And I just had meeting 2 days back with the Niti Aayog Vice Chair and Principal Advisor to Prime Minister, Dr. Vijay Raghavan. And we are on that path. I mean, we will try to create a new highway for innovations to reach globally. And they will reach, because they have the potential to solve problems. And we will take also from globally, which is what Gandhiji said, let wind come from all directions, but not so strongly that it sweeps us away from our feet. So we will stand on our feet, but we'll be always open to learn from all around and share with all around, because that is our spirit. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We will not keep our ideas only to ourselves. So please don't mind, Brigadier, whatever small ups and downs are there in the network journey, but the network is strong, and you have proved it today that it is stronger than what we have imagined. It is a great tribute to your team that you have been able to keep the interest of the community intact. And as the feedback showed, it has made difference to people's lives. It has made difference to people's solidarity. One of the feedback was that it has helped us, it has given us a platform, and we are able to connect to each other whenever we want to. I think that's wonderful. That was a great feedback. That is what the true spirit of Honeybee Network is. It is not just what material differences you make, but you're also making a spiritual difference to the whole mindset and approach of the network. So good luck to you, and good luck to all your team. And Akila, wonderful comparing. You have been able to bring everything together with great spirit and great joy and great devotion. Keep it up. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Professor Gupta. It's always nice listening from you. We always look forward. Often we don't get a chance to meet people like you, and opportunities like this for youngsters like us, right? It's so exciting for us to have you all on board. Thank you very, very much once again. You called out a lot of important points. I think all of us would remember how we're all trying to work more towards grassroots innovations. And in this regard, I think whatever you said, right, it'll stay with us. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Akila, one second. Professor, thanks a lot. We've already gone global with your help. Our mission is in Kenya.
I forgot to mention. You're right. We had, yes, you're right. Victoria Lake in Kenya got this water hyacinth remover. And thanks to Suchitra Duraisamy, our ambassador, our High Commissioner in Kenya, and her help, and Ministry of External Affairs help, and Government of Telangana's help. That yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Very good example.
Yes.
And actually, we in our webinars, Mrs. Raju and two ladies are there. We call all of them, but today we showed only 20 of the 200 innovations. But thanks a lot. I think wonderful suggestions. Right, over to you, Akila.
Okay, so now we have Professor P.S. Murthy Garu with us. Before I call upon him, I would like to introduce him to all of you. Dr. Bodharaja Srinivas Murthy is a metallurgist. He received Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize for Science and Technology, which is the highest science award in India for the year 2007 in Engineering Science category. He was an alumnus of Visvesvaraya National Institute of Technology and IISc Bangalore. He was an HOD at IIT Madras, and he was also a professor at IIT Kharagpur before he took over as director of Indian Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. So, Professor Murthy Garu, over to you. Thank you very much for joining us, and welcome once again.
Good evening, friends. Last 1 hour has been very, very amazing. I think the best experience I ever gone through in the last few years, at least. Amazing. I mean, I came to know about Palle Srujana only after I received the mail from Malaysian Garu, from Ganesham Garu, Brigadier Ganesham. And then I started going through the website and saw the amazing things that they are doing. And I was actually looking forward to today's meeting. And last 1 hour, whatever I've been seeing, the passion that every one of you, Akila, when you are talking, I can see. I mean, I feel like becoming as young as you. So that, and Kalpana Garu, when she was talking about, and Anil Gupta, first time I'm meeting you, sir. Wonderful experience of meeting you. And so when I look at, I mean, I'm like a nanoparticle in front of all of you. So we have been trying to do something at IIT Hyderabad in this particular direction. But whatever I have been seeing you, very small, frugal innovations, amazing innovations. I mean, just when I am going through, I was thinking, about a year back, we started something called a Rural Development Center at IIT Hyderabad. Okay, and then I asked all my faculty, 200 faculty, asking, do you have any ideas where you want to take your deep technology to the villages nearby? At least we adopted about 5 villages nearby, and then I asked them, do you have anything to offer to them? And then they came up with some 20 proposals, and then about 5 proposals, we sanctioned about 10 lakhs each. Okay, I'm waiting for them to implement that. It's about a year now. So I called it as a 2-year project, but they are all saying that by this May, they'll be ready to implement various ideas of theirs. But then I was thinking, these people are doing, I mean, 50 lakhs that I have spent is the kind of innovations that I see in front of me. They all do it in few thousands of rupees, more or less. Amazing innovations. So that's a problem typically with IITs, that you don't want to touch a project unless it is a minimum of few lakhs or so. So no faculty will be willing to come forward to do an innovation of this nature. And please, Akhila, I want you to send me this YouTube link. I will send it today night itself to all my faculty and ask them to see the kind of things that they are doing, that the innovators are doing, and sitting in small villages without any engineering education or anything of that nature. In fact, recently we are all talking about teaching engineering in local languages. Possibly you are all aware, Professor Anil Gupta will be definitely aware that we have a barrier right now. If you want to learn engineering, you have to learn English first. Okay, that is where we are, because most of the books of engineering are all written in English. Okay, even if it is an Indian, he writes a book in English. We all teach in English, and hence that becomes a barrier for somebody in a remote village like Chilgunurpeta or something like that. So we have now started a big mission. Possibly you are all aware, with the AICT chairman Anil Sahasrujana taking a lead on that, where we are trying to take all these NPTEL lectures, transcribing them from speech to text into English first, and then using ML, converting that into 8 different languages, that every subject that we teach in colleges is available in a local language as either a textbook or having subtitles for each of the lectures that we give, whether it is thermodynamics, whether it is anything else. So that is something that is going to happen in the next 5 years. You will see engineering being taught to every villager in their own local language, so that possibly their knowledge, they are already, without anything being fed into them, they already have so much of innovative ideas. Maybe a little bit, if it is taught, maybe they will become much better. So this is something that at least I have in mind, to see if we can possibly be involved, Hyderabad particularly, in skill development. We can possibly take them, give a 1-month course, 2-month course, and things like, if it could be welding, if it could be anything related to the engineering aspects that they have been doing it. A small 1-month courses, even 15-day courses, okay, on skill development of anything that you think would be of use to any of these villagers. Please, I'm very keen. From today, I've become a fan of, Palle Srujana. I would like to do anything that you want. You can count me in for anything that you are doing. And I would love to come and see some of these physically, anywhere, any event that you are organizing, please let me know. Particularly if it is on weekends, I can freely drop everything else and then come and join. Okay, so there are things like that. For example, in the villages that we have nearby, we have been, in fact, last 1 week, I have been, after this COVID for 1.5 years, we have not been traveling much. So I started traveling now. Every village I go and ask them, what is it that you think we can do? First, on the education front, we have started attacking, because after all, we are all here for human resource development, to train those teachers to improve their knowledge, to make sure that the students' basics are become very strong. That is something that we are attempting in a big way. And also the students also, can we make them think a little out of the box rather than just taking the notes from the teachers and kind of mugging it and writing. I remember during my school days, it's all, whatever your teacher tells you, you have to write that. If you don't write it, you don't get marks. Okay, from that to a stage where he thinks and starts questioning even to a teacher, is something that is a kind of an environment that we need to create. We are trying our best, thanks to the faculty and the students that are available with us. Also, we started developing a few small things. Recently, we developed something like a bio brick, where you take the paddy, once the paddy is cut off, the portion that is remaining, people burn it off. Instead of burning it off, take it, chop it off, add some binder, and you can make bricks very easily and very cheap. And we are now training the local villagers about this, so that it gives them not only saves the pollution that we get while burning, Punjab, all these things, people talk about it, the whole Delhi gets polluted because of that. And and then also giving some kind of an opportunity and a kind of livelihood to people during the off season. Okay, and also we have seen that we have already put it onto our campus, and we see that the temperature inside is almost 5 degrees lower, and it is fireproof. So things like this, we are trying to see whatever we are trying to develop in a small way. We try to train people around, and we have started bringing them onto the campus. We have a huge 1.5 lakh square foot area created on IIT Hyderabad, which we call it as Technology Incubation Park. Okay, so we can put them into that area, let them learn whatever they want to learn together with us, and ensure that they go out with some kind of a creative knowledge which they already have, and nurture it in an environment like ours, and see if they can do much more frugal innovations. These are certain things we are trying to do, and anything that you have in mind where we can be of use, feel free, Ganesham Garu. I am always ready to be a part of Palle Srujana. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and wish you all the best, amazing things that you are doing, and the kind of energy that I see in all of you, I got energized today. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you very much, Murthy Garu. I see you suddenly became a child, and you're very excited to see all the yeah, and yeah, so thank you very, very much. I'm taking this opportunity or a privilege to say that you already signed up to be a volunteer of Palle Srujana by saying that I can do anything for you. So we have one more new volunteer, and we welcome you to the family. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Murthy Garu. It has been a great pleasure. We are so near about it so far.
I would have missed this if you have not sent that mail, Ganesham Garu. Okay.
Oh God.
I mean, it's one small incident of one email you have dropped. It has opened up my mind, opened up my eyes today. Thank you very much.
We caught to invite you.
How did I miss this all these years? That is the kind of feeling that I get today. I'm sorry I have missed it for all these years, but I will compensate for it. Thank you very much.
I request you and your team, whenever they want to visit, they can welcome. They can come. A day's notice is enough. They can come Sunday, Saturday, night, it doesn't matter. But your presence and connectivity with the Palle Srujana makes so much difference. And a center of excellence, IIT, and your inclination to accept them where they are, like Professor Gupta mentioned in the chat. I think that's what makes us go forward with a lot of hopes. And thanks so much meeting you today. Hope to see you in person earliest. Thank you. Namaste. Over to you, Akhila.
Thank you. So, all right. So we have two guests done, and we're excited to introduce third guest to you, Dr. P.S. Goelji. He's Dr. Prem Shankar Goel. He's an Indian space scientist. He was a former director at UR Rao Space Center and ISRO, former secretary at the Department of Ocean Development, Ministry of Earth Sciences, Government of India. He was conferred with Padma Shri in 2001. He's an alumnus of Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore and Bangalore University. He received the Special Achievement Award for the Aryabhatta project and Hari Om Ashram Prerit Dr. Vikram Sarabhai Research Award. He was awarded the ASI Lifetime Achievement Award by the Aeronautical Society of India. He is a recipient of ISRO Distinguished Scientist Award. He's currently the chairperson of National Innovation Foundation. So, welcome to you. We're very honored to have you with us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Akhila. Professor Gupta, Brigadier Ganeshan, Professor Murthy, and all the colleagues at Palle Srujana, as well as all the people who have joined this webinar. Good evening to you. Brigadier Ganeshan, actually, when you called me, my immediately reaction in my mind was that I must listen to you to understand what you are doing. And that was a purely sort of instinct in my mind that I must know what you are doing. And this meeting today, last almost an hour and a half, has been a real pleasure. I see that whatever we are doing and we want to do at NIF, you are doing in Telangana and Telugu states. In fact, the only input, which is very important for me, is to see, can NIF nurture such Palle Srujana in every state of the country? Whether it's possible, can we do that? Because if we do that, then we will be having a multiplying effect of what is being done. This is really fantastic experience, and I must thank you. I not only thank you, I appreciate from heart all your volunteers, which you are doing a great job. I had heard, of course, about your work with respect to Vasu machine and how the 15,000 families got benefited. But I see today is what you are doing is much more than just 15,000 family. You are today having outreach to lakhs of families in Telugu states. So really, the one thing is a food for thought for us in an IF, that how can we multiply that? The second part, which is very important, I think, for us to have this connectivity between NIF and Palle Srujana. I would like to tell you that we have started digitizing our so-called database of the various grassroots generations. We have almost a few lakhs of them. Almost 1,50,000 we have already put in the database. And that database is freely available. And also we have really connected our database to AICTE, and they have actually suggested all the engineering colleges, engineering universities. I hope Professor Murthy might have got aware of that database is available. And in fact, what we wanted was, even for the ME thesis or BE thesis, many people, what they're doing is they're doing the cut and paste and just to do that. So they can take the ideas for this 1.5 lakh, which are already there. What we want to do further is, we have got some contacts with our equivalent agencies elsewhere. So we are trying to see that whether we can link the database with them also, so that whatever is happening, let's say in Thailand or Vietnam, similarly, of course, they will also have access to our database, and that will be good, because we are not here for some kind of a protecting rights. We are more for the benefit of the people, benefit of the society. So that's what we would be doing. And in that process, I hope that your innovations, what you have got in Parsuna, are available to NIF. If they are not, I think we should have that. And we like to add them in our database, in the NIF, because in that case, it will be available. I'm very happy with your concept of weekly webinars. It's doing a very good job. Only thing, how do we have a outreach for those who need it? That's one thing, because right now our outreach, and that's problem I'm trying to see in IF also. We are doing very well in terms of reaching the innovators, protecting them, and all that great system which Dr. Gupta created in IF. We are pursuing that. But we want to go one step further. How to go to the people who need it? And really speaking, in my experience with the engineering tells me that in engineering, the 90% or 95% problem is understanding the problem. If we understand the problem, the solution is only about 5%. And this I'm telling you particularly in the context of, you can say, high tech, whether it is making a satellite, making a rocket, or making an aircraft. The solution doesn't take much time, much effort. Understanding the problem takes. So if there are problems, second thing, if this database is available, how there are a lot of, maybe some of the things which I saw today, some of these things are already have been done. Now, obviously, at the village, he doesn't have access to an NIF database, so that he cannot take those solutions. So we have to now really see, because database can reach only the people who can really open a website. But those who cannot open a website, how do we reach with them? Because you see, what is happening is we are doing too much of a effort at 100 places. whether that effort can be. So this is something, say when we can make use of mobile, we can make use of the, let's say, video conferencing. There is no harm in disseminating information to the level there that we don't have to innovate every nook and corner of the country, the same thing again and again. Can we make it available? So that is our next effort. Also, I'd like to mention to you that I felt that for a Indian farmer, can we create a concept that he can access the tools which are really more professional? They are doing a great job in terms of thinking new solutions and all that, but they are understanding the material, they're understanding the mechanics. All this is not that great. Now, if we can bring engineering intelligence to that, and for that we have started a small effort with the help of National Academy of Engineering. We have with us Dr. Bhujangarao. He's currently in Hyderabad, and he is anchoring this activity where we are trying to reach to the engineering colleges, that you take a development, take an innovation, and then make it perfect to the level of product. Because most of our inventions, they come from the grassroots innovator. They are not real, they are working systems, they are prototypes, but they are not marketable products. And the wealth generation for the country will come when we are able to bridge this gap between the innovations and the product. In fact, the innovation is not complete till it becomes a product. So this is also one gap which I think which is important for us to address. So that also we are trying to really link up. I personally feel that what you are doing is a real great job, but we need to now synergize more and more Palle Srujana, and I'll try to see that we get more people. The Madam Kalpana did mention about the so-called formalization. I really have no solution to that, because it's a question of, when you say make it formal, that means if it becomes a government body, then it will be another NIF, and it will be controlled by other joint secretary somewhere in the department. That also is not right thing to do. But again, you need some support. So how to do that? Or do you create some kind of a society, or you create some kind of a body? But then how does it sustain after brigadier? That's a big question mark. I do agree with that. So I think we need to really, if we can find a solution here, then we can probably replicate this in other states also. So I will be looking for more suggestions from the point of view, how do we replicate this kind of a model elsewhere in the country and practically in every state? So that's a very good lesson, or a sort of a lesson for me to learn, and how to do that. This is something, but today evening has been a very excellent experience, and I would like to express my sincere gratitude to each one of your team members. They are doing a great job, and that too voluntarily. Anything NIF can do, please just pick up a phone call, and I'll be at your command. So thank you for making me part of your system. I'm so happy to be that, and we will be really working together as a team in all respect. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Goel. Thank you very much for lending your support to us. We look forward to having more interactions with you. And on the suggestion that you asked for, I think Brigadier will definitely initiate the conversation, and we're going to have a discussion around that. We'll get back to you very soon.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Goel. NIF and Palle Srujana has been together since 2005 and will stay together. There's a lot of synergy we have to increase it. Now, the databases we have are not in the local languages, and we have to do that. And how do we do it, and how they disseminate it to the last farmer? I think we have to think about it. There's no point calling them and teaching them English or something like that. We have to do that, and we have the ability to do that. We have to plan and do it, and it's not been done all these years. And with a kind of a Google translation coming, there are so many methods I need not tell you, but they should do it earliest possible, so that, as you rightly brought out, duplication of the same innovation where should happen. Manufacture can be decentralized, but idea can be taken from the database and customized, improved the local situation. And that's what people do it. So that much time is saved, that much effort is saved. And it can be done by urgently making this database what collected over the years in National Innovation Foundation reach people in the local languages. Now, if we today I see the guests have spoken that this is very good weekly webinar. Do it local language in every state. It's not a voluntary group. Do it as a government, do the system, do the NIF. Every state you must have weekly webinars so that relevant innovations from anywhere, from NIF database are shown to them. Need not from the local. We are scouting and doing it, and we also take something from NIF. But that's what we have to have a system. Mass communication using technology. We are very happy to have this. Blessing of Corona is webinars and the cell phones in the houses, because for the school children, they bought smartphones. So look at the advantage. You must leverage the situation and make it a habit and pass on the information. And I request that at National Innovation Foundation level, this may be thought about. And if implemented, tell me there's a great knowledge sharing in the country, which is overdue. Now, when there's something a rural connect, like Dr. Murthy very well said, rural connect is very important, where every student should get connected to rural, whatever the way you have, by syllabus or willingness or option, they must go. We have Shodhayatra is a beautiful movement Professor Gupta started. It teaches you so much. You can also learn from them and share your knowledge with them in an informal atmosphere where people respect each other, in a mutual respect situation. And that's where people listen. So we want Dr. Murthy to walk with us, or Professor Gupta sometime. so you'll understand how easy it is to communicate with the people and get them on our side, we on their side. And your students are welcome, we'll do that. And Bhujangarao Garu is here. We are in touch, Dr. Goyal. I'm sure we'll do it. We have already, he has roped me in some activity. In fact, Kim's Foundation, he made Palle Srujana as a member so that the village knowledge, village traditional knowledge, village problems can be focused by them as part of research. I think this is amazing. Bhujangarao Garu started. Friday, we're having a meeting with the Kim scientists so that we can take something forward from the traditional knowledge. So I think, thank you very much, NIF. We look forward to you always and every time. And thanks for your offer. But you're still not visited us. Your next visit to Hyderabad, please visit us. We'll be grateful to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We now have Jayashanjan Garu with us. I will quickly introduce him to you, and stage will all be Jayashanjan sir's. Jayashanjan Garu is a member of the Indian Administrative Service of the 1992 batch and was All India topper of his batch. He's an alumnus of Delhi University, IIM Calcutta, and National University of Singapore. He had done a many short courses from elite universities across the globe, like just to name a few: University of Birmingham, London School of Economics, Harvard University, and many elite universities across the world. He received awards like World Bank's Social Capital Visiting Scholarship in 2002 and the British government's Gurukul Chevening Scholarship in 2005. He's currently the Principal Secretary of the IMC and the IT departments of the Telangana government. Apart from assignments like policy frameworks, attracting new investments involved in tribal development, natural resources management, poverty alleviation, and other related social development sectors over the last 12 years, he also has been doing a lot for the social sector. He's also involved in a lot of social movements, and he's been supporting Palle Srujana a great way for a long time now. He has some key achievements of Palle Srujana. Jayashanjan Garu had always been there. Thank you very much, sir, for joining with us today, and over to you.
Thank you very much. First of all, let me apologize. I'm in a moving car and I'm not very sure about the network quality. So allow me to keep my video off and just use the audio. First of all, my greetings to respected Professor Anil Gupta, Dr. P.S. Goyal, Professor Murthy, Kalpana ji, and all other distinguished guests, distinguished participants. Let me congratulate Palle Srujana for this milestone. As Brigadier Ganesham said, this has been a learning opportunity to see how technology can also be used or can be made useful. And you have done a great job in starting this webinar series. And I'm happy that you have touched this milestone of the 52nd week of dissemination. So heartiest congratulations. We in Telangana have learned quite a lot from Palle Srujana and also from the work which has been done by pioneers like Professor Anil Gupta, the Honeybee Network, the National Innovation Foundation, Srishti, and so on and so forth. And therefore, when Telangana became a new state in 2014, and when we decided that we will embrace innovation, entrepreneurship, we will encourage startups, the government came up with a very user-friendly policy on startups, innovation, entrepreneurship. But I completely agree with the views of Professor Anil Gupta, where he spoke about how good ideas are there, but no one in the bureaucracy follows up. It is eventually killed by the apathy and indifference and sometimes sheer hostility of the bureaucracy. So in Telangana also we recognize this. In fact, we ourselves have heard this and seen this on so many forums. In fact, this is a very standard criticism about India, that people come up with great ideas, great intent, great policies, but very little happens on the ground. There is very little follow-up, etc. And when we dive deeper into it, why is it that great intent is shown, great policies are written, but nothing happens on the ground? One of the reasons is that no one takes responsibility for implementing the thought into action. No one is held accountable. I mean, for example, I am the principal secretary. If I am told that it is your responsibility to implement the social innovation policy or the grassroots innovation policy, I mean, I may be personally passionate and driven, but obviously there are 1,000 other things on my plate and I just won't be able to deliver, even if I wanted to. So in Telangana, what we do is that we create institutions who are solely responsible for implementing these kind of good ideas, good intent, good frameworks, good policy. And in Telangana, what we have created is something, in my opinion, is worth emulating elsewhere as well. And people like the Niti Ayog, etc., have commented about this. So what we have done is that we have created what we call as the Telangana State Innovation Cell, TSIC. See, some of you may be aware that we have the country's largest incubator in Hyderabad, which is called T-Hub. We have the country's largest prototyping lab, which is called the T-Works. We have an exclusive incubator for women entrepreneurs, which is called V-Hub, and so on and so forth. But our experience also showed that most of these institutions, the T-Hubs, the V-Hubs, the T-Works, they are typically patronized by young people who are typically who are connected to the city, who are urban, who have gone to college in the city, who speak English. Some of the things that Professor Murthy also pointed out, and there are very few takers from the rural areas. But obviously, as all of us understand, there is tremendous amount of innovation and ingenuity that is happening in rural areas, and we were missing out on all that. So we created this institution called the Telangana State Innovation Cell, whose mandate, I mean, they do other things also, but their main, of course, they don't duplicate the work which, let us say, Palle Srujana or a Kakatiya Sandbox is doing. They typically collaborate, work together, and we strengthen each other. There's a very good harmony and synergy between each of us. For instance, our flagship program is called Inta Innovator, and for the benefit of, let us say, Professor Gupta or Dr. Goel, Inta Innovator is obviously a Telugu word, and a Telugu phrase rather, which means an innovator in every household. So that is the logic behind this program, that there's tremendous amount of great this innovative work which is happening. And obviously, we who live in the cities, etc., we kind of tend to undermine it by calling it jugaad and things like that. But we all know that behind even these so-called jugads, there's lots of application of mind, there's lots of science. And only thing is to, first of all, discover them, showcase them, and then help them refine their solutions, refine their product. As Dr. Goel pointed out, convert it into a product which can be then scaled up or commercialized, etc. So this is something which we do under the State Innovation Cell. And once every, I mean, of course, we do it many times of the year, but once a year, there is a highlight event in which some of the best rural innovators are showcased at the district level and then at the state headquarter level. And obviously, they are celebrated, they are rewarded, and the better ideas or the best ideas are also identified for further support and scaling up, etc. We earlier thought that banks and other financial institutions will be willing to give loans to these to these innovators if they require some seed money, but we found that process to be cumbersome, and therefore few months ago we have decided to set up our own grassroots innovations fund. And this year, because of COVID, etc., we have not been able to make a huge contribution to the fund, but we have made a beginning, and some amount has been made available and some amount has been disbursed also. But from the next financial year onwards, obviously the support, the size of the fund, the Grassroots Innovation Fund, definitely will be much bigger, and more number of people can be supported with whatever kind of funding they require. We also are aware of the opportunity that Corporate Connect can provide to some of these rural innovators, not just under their CSR head, but also as a matter of regular business development opportunities or vendor development opportunities. And Hyderabad, as all of us would surely know, has become a very important destination for some of the leading corporates, not just Indian, but even MNCs, global corporates, etc. So of late, we have also started showcasing the TSIC's work, the rural innovation that happens in Telangana to some of the corporate. This interaction today, in fact, earlier in the day rather, I had interacted with senior officials from Google who are interested to set up a partnership framework with with the government of Telangana. And one of the things which I kind of impressed upon them is to also support rural innovation, because Google has announced a 10 billion fund for India, and we were discussing what all can be done under that. And I kind of impressed upon them that a part of it, which you are going to spend in Telangana, should go in supporting rural entrepreneurs, rural innovators as well. So there was a element of positivity in their response also. Of course, this needs to go through multiple iterations, and hopefully towards the end of January, we'll be announcing this formally. But not just Google. I mean, since it happened early in the day, I kind of gave their example. But there are many other corporates also with whom we are discussing to support rural innovation, etc. So all put together, I personally would say that some of the things which Professor Gupta, Dr. Goel, Brigadier Ganesh and others started, we see tremendous value in it. We are committed to do more of this kind of work. And the fact that we have created an institution exclusively to deal with rural innovation. And let me also point this out. Sometimes when I say so, that government creates institutions to ensure that there is no slip between our intent and implementation. Sometimes people are skeptical saying that, and I remember, I just heard one of you say that there'll be some joint secretary who will be looking after it. So we ensure that the best possible talent from the open market runs these institutions. There is no government functionary in any of these institutions. There are about a dozen such institutions that we have created, and I can tell this to you, not to mean that there is no talent in the government at all. I'm not generalizing to that extent, but we are aware of the fact that better talent is available outside the government, and we should tap it. And I feel very happy to share with you that, for instance, the Telangana State Innovation Cell, the first CEO of the TSIC, is himself a poster boy of Indian innovation. He's the person who founded this amazing startup called the Red Bus, and he served as the first head of the Telangana State Innovation Cell. Afterwards, there was a gap for about a year or so. There was someone who was officiating, but now I'm happy to share with you that we have now appointed the next person full-time, who again is a person who has a tremendous commitment to rural innovation. She herself comes from a rural background, has done a PhD in engineering from the US, and highly educated, but extremely committed and passionate about. So if you want to find talent, they are available aplenty. And she leads a team of about 15 people, all of whom are extremely well qualified, talented, and have chosen to work with the government to kind of, first of all, prove themselves, and also to help us in achieving our goals and objectives. So these three mantras: one is to, of course, show your intent by kind of announcing in public a policy or a framework, and kind of make it public. Second, create an institution which will deliver that policy or implement that policy. And third, of course, is to identify the best talent to run those institutions. And the government role, of course, is to, first of all, strengthen these institutions. These institutions are run by their own boards, which again have some of the best domain experts. And the government, of course, is committed to provide the budgetary support to these institutions to run their programs, etc. So the Shodh Yatras, the innovator programs, and the approach that we have taken in Telangana to promote grassroots innovation, rural innovation, social innovation has even inspired JICA. Many of you would know this is the international development arm of the Japanese government, through which developmental loans are given. Typically, JICA loans are given for infrastructure projects like the metro rail and some national highways and stuff like that. But for the first time ever, JICA has decided to support innovation in our country. They have chosen Telangana, and they have chosen to support rural and grassroots innovation. And discussions are going on. This loan agreement hopefully will be signed early in the next financial year, under which JICA will be helping us set up 5 rural hubs, which will be like rural T hubs or rural V hubs, etc. So if there is a amazing grassroots innovator, we don't have to bring him to Hyderabad to refine him or give him guidance on the technology or the go-to-market strategy, etc. Institutions and experts will be available to help him literally at his doorstep. So wonderful things are happening. I want to assure the esteemed audience that we are committed to promote grassroots innovation. We look forward to working very closely, not just with Palle Srujana, but with all of you, with Professor Gupta, with Dr. Goel, with Professor Murthy, Dr. Kalpana, and various other distinguished participants and speakers. But once again, my apologies. I was not able to turn on my video. I'm also not sure how was the quality of the audio. I kept on speaking without checking even once if I'm audible and if the quality is all right. But nevertheless, thank you very much for inviting me. Good wishes to you once again, Professor Brigadier Ganeshan, all your team members, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jason Garu. Always, although you didn't check your audio, but we were able to hear you really well, and just a couple of places where it was patchy, but absolutely clear. Thank you very much for taking your time out. You're understanding very, very busy, but thank you very much once again. And your support to Palle Srujana has been immense always, and we hope that you keep supporting us the way you can.
Thank you, Jayesh Garu. Your voice is good. We only missed your handsome face and personality. So nice. And with your traveling, you have taken time to address the audience. We know your intent of Telangana government and the way we have worked together, and we have taken us into your, factored into your discussions. All these years have been wonderful. Maybe Telangana is the first state to do this, to grassroots innovation, take it as a focus. As you said, a separate organization with the professionals and take it forward. We also signed an MOU with GAN to take up further. I think all this news is very, very enlightening, and I'm sure they will happen. What's happening, Corona came in the way. I think most of the things came in the way and reduced the acceleration. I'm sure once we're out, we'll be able to do it. And thanks for always being considerate to Palle Srujana and grassroots innovators. I'm sure this philosophy, which you are practicing in the last 3-4 years, will percolate down in the government and in the organizations, and the sensitivity to the grassroots innovations and the creativity increases. Thereby society gets benefited. Thank you very much for being with us.
With this, we now come to an end. I now request Lakshmi to take over for the vote of thanks. Once again. Yeah, you may now unmute.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening, honorable guests, volunteers, and well-wishers. So the best and beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. So they must be felt by heart. So thank you is one such expression among them. As all good things come to an end in life, so is the webinar. It's my privilege to propose vote of thanks on this wonderful occasion. On behalf of Pioneer Palle Srujana, I take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks to those who have directly and indirectly contributed to this webinar. 52 weeks of digital dissemination of grassroots innovations organized by Palle Srujana. At the outset, I thank our chief guest, Professor Anil Gupta ji, Shri J.S. Ranjan Garu, Professor B.S. Murthy Garu, and Dr. P.S. Goyal Garu. We are really delighted with your knowledge and presence. I would like to thank our core team, Brigadier Sashimohan Garu, Shrikar Garu, Durga Prasad Garu, Raghav Reddy Garu, and Kalpana Shastri Garu for their enthusiastic support. Thanks to all the innovators, farmers, well-wishers, they have been supporting us throughout. These webinars would not be possible without innovators. Asalu innovators lekapothe manaki ee webinar series e jarigedi kaadu from almost 1 year nunchi. So a big thanks to Subhash for his untiring efforts. A special thanks to the organizing committee for their unflinching support and coordination. Our heartfelt thanks to participants for their active participation. A big gratitude to our volunteers, Shrikant, Sai, Shiva, Sridhar, Raj, Narendra Garu, Krishna Garu, Akhila, and Lakshmi. This is not the end of our webinar series, or this is not end of our webinar, but this is a celebration. So with these warm words, we move to the end of today's webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. I request you all to just stay back for 2-3 seconds. Would like whoever can please turn on your videos. Let's all take a nice, beautiful photograph, and then I take a screenshot, and then we can close the session. All of you, those who can, please turn on your videos. Jason Nengaru, thank you very much for turning on your video. All right, I hope that's, there we go. 1, 2, and okay, we have more people turning on the videos. Good to see. That's 1, 2, and 3. Please smile. All right, let me do one more, and then all right, 1, 2, and 3. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, wonderful. All the best.
Thank you
Good
very
luck,
much.
James, for your happy journey. I'm sure you will drive safely. We want your energy. And thank you, Dr. Goyal, and thank you, Brigadier, and thank you, Akhila, and Dr. Murthy. Thank you so much for your energy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.